What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be taking a deep dive into something you probably use every single day without even thinking about it. Paper. I'm talking about the stuff legends are printed on, the canvas for countless masterpieces, the unsung hero of the recycling bin. Paper! We're going to follow the journey of paper from its humble beginnings as a tree all the way to that crisp white sheet you pull out of the printer. Buckle up, because we're about to cover some serious ground, or should I say trees, and uncover the surprisingly complex process behind making this everyday essential. But before we get started on this epic adventure, make sure you're fully equipped. Smash that like button like you're trying to pulp some wood yourself, and subscribe for more awesome deep dives into the world around us. All right, let's get this paper chase started. Our journey begins in the forest. Now, I'm not talking about some random clear-cutting operation here. We're talking about sustainable forestry, the kind where they plant a tree for everyone they harvest. So it's all good for the environment. Imagine these massive machines carefully selecting and cutting down mature trees, kind of like a giant claw machine at an arcade. But instead of winning a stuffed animal, you're getting the raw materials for paper. It's actually pretty cool to see these machines in action. They're like the lumberjack's high-tech sidekick. Once the trees are down, they're stripped of their branches and loaded onto trucks. It's like a well-orchestrated ballet, except with giant logs and the fate of your next notebook hanging in the balance. Next stop, the pulp mill. This is where things get really interesting. The logs are brought here and thrown into these giant industrial-sized blenders, kind of like the ones they use to make smoothies, but 1,000,000 times bigger and way less delicious. There are actually two main ways to turn wood into pulp: mechanical pulping and chemical pulping. Mechanical pulping is like using brute force. They just grind the wood up into a fiber mush. Chemical pulping is more like a delicate dance, using chemicals to dissolve the lignin that holds the wood fibers together. Both methods have their pros and cons, but the end result is the same. A slurry of wood fibers that looks kind of like oatmeal. But don't even think about adding brown sugar and cinnamon. Chapter 3, Bleaching Out the Imperfections, the Quest for Pristine Paper. Now you might be thinking, Mark, that pulp slurry doesn't exactly scream, "Write your masterpiece to me," and you know what? You'd be right. That's where bleaching comes in. I'm not talking about the kind you use to get your teeth whiter, although the concept is kind of similar. The pulp is treated with, usually, chlorine dioxide, which sounds scary, but is actually carefully controlled and environmentally friendly. It's like giving the pulp a spa day, removing impurities and making it brighter than a supernova. This step is super important for creating high-quality paper that's suitable for printing and writing. Without bleaching, your paper would look more like a grocery bag than a blank canvas for your next big idea. Chapter 4. From Glop to Glory, the Magical Birth of a Sheet. All right, we're in the home stretch now. The bleached pulp, which is basically liquid paper at this point, is poured onto a giant moving wire mesh screen. Think of it like a really big, flat spaghetti strainer. As the water drains out, the wood fibers start to bond together, kind of like how those sticky notes stick to your refrigerator. Next, the newly formed paper sheet goes for a ride on a roller coaster of heated rollers. This dries the paper and gives it that smooth, even surface we all know and love. It's like magic, watching this wet, goopy mess transform into a solid sheet right before your eyes. And just like that, we've got paper. Well, almost. It's still a bit rough around the edges, but we're getting there. Chapter 5, Rolling, Cutting, Packaging, Getting Ready for Prime Time. The final stage of the paper-making process is all about putting the finishing touches on our masterpiece. The giant rolls of paper are sliced and diced into different sizes, kind of like they're at a paper deli. Then, it's time for packaging. The paper is carefully wrapped, labeled, and stacked on pallets, ready to be shipped to schools, offices, and art studios around the world. And there you have it, folks. Next time you pick up a piece of paper, take a moment to appreciate the incredible journey it took to get there. And that's how paper is made. From sustainable forests to high-tech factories, it's a pretty amazing process when you think about it. It's like alchemy, turning trees into a blank canvas for human creativity. Now I want to hear from you. What other everyday objects have you always wondered about? Let me know in the comments below, and maybe your suggestion will be featured in our next video. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up if you learned something new today, and subscribe for more awesome content. Until next time, stay curious.